This morning, we got a very big update on the whole Jaire Alexander Green Bay Packers saga. The NFL draft has passed, and Jaire is still a member of the Green Bay Packers. A lot of people thought he could be traded during the NFL draft. The Packers not only didn't trade Jaire Alexander, but they didn't select a cornerback until the 7th round. And a lot of people were wondering, does that signal that Jaire is going to remain a Green Bay Packer? Maybe the board didn't fall the way the Packers wanted. Maybe they were eyeing a cornerback such as Noah Williams that went right before their pick there in the 3rd round. And we just got some very promising news for Jaire possibly remaining a Green Bay Packer, at least for 2025. According to a source, the Packers and Jaire Alexander continue to talk about a possible resolution, which could include a reconciliation to where Alexander plays for the Packers in 2025 after all. All options are still on the table: release, trade, or return. So this is no guarantee that Jaire Alexander is going to be a Green Bay Packer in 2025, but what it does signal is there have been ongoing talks, some maybe a little bit of progression for a potential contract adjustment for the Packers and Jaire Alexander. And what I mean by this is maybe a potential pay cut where there's incentive-based bonuses based on playtime, right? Say if Jaire plays 75% or more of the snaps or makes a Pro Bowl, makes an All-Pro, he can earn all of that money back that he was originally supposed to get in 2025. Because as of right now, based on his injury history, based on what we know, he's not worth his current contract salary. And that's why no other team wanted to trade for him, because they'd be taking on his base salary and not really having a player that has been too available the past couple of seasons. So that's why there was never a materialized trade for Jaire Alexander before or during the draft. Now, that's not saying that still couldn't happen. Certain teams that were eyeing cornerbacks in the draft, maybe didn't get their guys, might be now picking up the phone and calling around the league, calling the Miami Dolphins for Ramsey, calling the Green Bay Packers for Jaire Alexander, and maybe working out a trade there. And if the Packers still can't get to where they want financially with this contract and Jaire Alexander, a release also could happen, because they can save money on a release if it's a post-June 1st designated cut. And now that we're after the draft, that is in the realm of possibility. Right now, Jaire Alexander's contract is through 2026. So not only is he signed through 2025, he's a member of the Green Bay Packers at least through 2026, unless traded or cut before then. And his cap hit for 2025 is set to be $24.6 million, or 8.3% of the salary cap. That's a lot of money for a player that's played in less than 50% of games the last 2 seasons. And it jumps up even more in 2026 to $27 million. And he also already has a void year added on his deal in 2027. And when we're looking at the pre-June 1st cut or trade, they would have to incur $17 million dead. So this cap number would drop from 24 to 17, and they'd save the difference, $7.5 million. But now what's on the table would be a post-June 1st cut or trade, meaning after June 1st, you cut/trade the player. You can move around money to the future years on the books, and it makes it a little easier of a pill to swallow in terms of contractually, kind of similar to what they did with David Bakhtiari, Aaron Rodgers. Then your dead money drops to $7.5 million, and you save $17.1 million on the salary cap. But with this update this morning, it really does seem like it's progression. Like the Packers and Alexander's camp might be getting closer to a pay cut agreement if it allows Jaire Alexander to earn that money back. Now, that's just an assumption. There's no update actually saying that the Packers want a pay cut, but it seems like that's the roadblock right now. The current contract value of Jaire Alexander, and the Packers don't want to pay that for Jaire in 2025. So they want to be able to, lower that amount. But Jaire says, well, if I play the full season, I'm entitled to the money you signed me to. So I'm sure that's where the disconnect is here. So I think a middle ground really would be, okay, we're gonna do a base pay cut, but you're going to be able to earn that money back if you play, and you play good, right? If you have a certain amount of interceptions, or like I said earlier, an All-Pro, a Pro Bowl, something of that sort, playtime escalators and all of that. That can all be worked into contracts, and it is a lot of the time for players with injury concerns. So I think that's where the disconnect is, and I think if they can both come to an agreement on that, I do think Jaire could be a Green Bay Packer in 2025. I was on the board of saying I really don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to be either traded or cut, and the Packers are going to move on. And even after the draft, just drafting Michael Robinson in the 7th round, I didn't think that was any signal for saying, hey, the Packers are definitely not moving on from Jaire. But after the news this morning, it seems like it's trending more in the right direction, which is a good sign. Obviously, the Packers are a better football team on defense when Jaire Alexander is on the field. It's just a big if when he's on the field, right? But with the Packers not drafting a cornerback till the 7th round, that does signal they have also high hope in their current cornerback group. With the Nate Hobbs addition this offseason, a guy that, can play nickel, but can also play some boundary. Carrington Valentine, they have high hopes in, a former 7th round pick that has shown a ton of potential. Keyshawn Nixon, in my opinion, played a lot better at boundary than he ever did in the slot on that defense for the Green Bay Packers. You also have Kalen King, who can play some nickel. Javon Bullard can play in the nickel. But right now, you're really, thin on depth for outside boundary cornerback. You have Carrington Valentine, Keyshawn Nixon, Nate Hobbs can kind of play there. You drafted Micah Robinson, and you also have someone like Kamal Haddon. But if you add Jaire Alexander into that mix, and if he's healthy, that takes our cornerback room up to that next level. Then you really start looking at this defense and you're going, okay, where is the hole on this defense? Because there really isn't one. But if the Packers move on from Jaire, I think you could easily go, okay, well, there's a hole at outside cornerback. There's thin depth there. They have plenty of nickel options, but not many outside boundary corner options. So overall, of course, I want something to work out, but I think I agree with the Green Bay Packers. The current contract value isn't going to fly. And it shouldn't. That's a lot of money for a player that has barely been on the field the past 2 seasons. But if they can lower that, come to an agreement with Jaire, have incentive-based escalators placed into that contract, I think that's a happy middle ground for both parties. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you believe Jaire Alexander will or will not be a Green Bay Packer for the 2025 season? Let me know down in the comments below. Really appreciate you guys coming by. If you could leave a like down below, it supports my channel a ton. Also, don't forget to go click subscribe to stay in the loop with everything Green Bay Packers this offseason. Rookie minicamp is right around the corner. There'll be plenty of content around that time, as well as over the next month. We're going to be breaking down the film from all 8 draft picks for the Green Bay Packers. So really appreciate you guys coming by. I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, go Pack Go.